This week is all about taking back your dreams and doing it your way. Get ready to feel as if a veil or a fog is dissipating, is lifting away. Major healing is coming and recognition of what is sparking you, what is moving you to the next piece of your journey is coming. Hey everyone, it's Christine. Welcome back to this week's weekly energy forecast for December 4 through the 10th. It is good to see you, to have you back. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here with me. I truly enjoy always hearing from you, your comments, engagement, what's going on, how things resonate. I also want to simply say thank you so much for all of your support, for connecting, and for simply being here, because my channel wouldn't be here without you. So thank you. Happy birthday to all my Sages, belated birthdays and upcoming birthdays. It's your season. I'm not even a Sag, but we all have placements of Sagittarius in our chart, and I just feel more alive. So I hope you're also enjoying this time too. Quick announcements. This is going to be my last premiere with this particular video with the weekly energy forecast. In other words, I'm going to still be publishing and creating weekly energy forecasts, but I won't be doing the premieres, at least for this season of my life. Even though it's about 30 minutes more or less, it's time that I can use to dedicate towards creating other content as well. And I'll let you know why. I, of course, love connecting and engaging, as many of you know, but until I get some other content and work going on my channel that I really want to put out, I want to use that time in a better, more efficient way. So I hope you understand. I truly appreciate your patience. That means you'll also be able to always, as usual, watch my video, any video, whenever you want. I also want to say this is going to be also the last weekly energy reading or the tarot live streams that I do on Wednesday for 2023. It's not going away. This is just the last one for 2023. And I will tell you why. I am working on your December and January readings right now. December readings are coming out this week for the month, and I'm also working on the 2024 year ahead readings, which take up a tremendous amount of time and energy. They're at least an hour, and so I need that time to be able to dedicate as I balance a lot of other lifing activities. I also want to announce November's winner for the free personal reading that I offered. It's a complimentary 60-minute personal reading with me live via video. And the winner is Beth Mamenga. And I will link you or connect with you in the comments. And I guess it's called tagging. And then I will create a post as well. So be on the lookout. Congratulations, Beth. I'm excited. I will be doing something similar for December. So if you're watching this video right now and you're interested in being entered in the December monthly reading, I will draw 3 names. So at the end of December, I will announce the winner. So early January. So if you're interested in a reading, just comment down below your zodiac sign somewhere in the comment box and I will include you. No pressure at all. And if you don't want to, don't even write anything. Quick logistical note as well. I also want to reference, because I was doing my research and putting this together, I realized, crap, there are different, obviously time zones we all live in, but there are also different, depending on what you consult, different, what are they called? Base time sets or time zones that are set. And so I wanted to let you know that the transits and aspects and times that I denote and discuss and talk about are always reflective of Eastern time, Eastern Standard, Eastern Daylight Savings Time as of now. Let's dive into the astrology. This week, I feel like there is more of a calming shift. It's a lot different than the previous weeks where it felt like we were being squeezed. This is after the toothpaste has been squeezed out and we're just like, ah. It's akin to when you feel bloated and then you drink tea, take medicine, do some type of yoga or activity and you don't feel so bloated. It's that type of post feeling. And again, a reminder here, I always provide the dates to these transits and any aspects that are being highlighted and any other event that I discuss. Not necessarily because, okay, on this day, pay attention, listen. More than likely, many folks have already and will have already felt these energies. You probably have already felt them. This is simply to let you know this is when they're either perfecting, when they are most at their peak, the strongest, etc. And I also want to denote not every transit or aspect is going to be big, challenging, or have some type of major momentum in your life. It's not going to produce some kind of momentum in your life necessarily. Sometimes the biggest transits folks talk about, you're like, I didn't feel a thing. It has a lot to do with how these current transits right now collectively are aspecting and relating to your own natal chart, as well as your progressed chart and any other techniques that you use to know yourself and connect yourself on a deeper level. Same thing with energy. We feel it in different ways. Quick recap. We have Pluto squaring the nodes, and this has been ongoing. This isn't something that's just popping on this week. August 3rd, we had this perfect, where we had the nodes squaring with Pluto in Capricorn. The nodes are in Aries and in Libra, North Node, South Node, respectively. And what we're seeing happening since August 3rd, 2023 into January 21st, 2024, we're seeing a gradual lessening of this feeling, almost like a cessation, but it's especially impacting, and you'll feel it the most if you're at the later degrees of the cardinal sign. So right now we have Pluto at 28 degrees. And so it's slowly moving to 29 degrees, and then it'll ingress into Aquarius on January 21st. So the orb is getting larger between these squares, I should say, between the North Node, South Node, and Pluto. And so you'll gradually just feel that energy or that tension releasing a bit. And I'll be doing something separate because I got a lot of channeled messages about this, and the cycle is coming to an end. You may be seeing shit pop off. You may be feeling, again, they're like almost like fireworks. Sometimes when they come in a repetitive pattern, it's like a firework or a pop quiz reminding you, okay, next onion layer with the same drama, almost like a soap opera where you have similar themes and you're like, what the hell? It's kind of like that. They're coming up for you to recognize, have I healed this pattern, particularly if it's something that's intergenerational, it's karmic, and it may exist or be pre-existing from this lifetime or a previous lifetime in connection with others generally. Because of the nature of Capricorn and the significations relating to this earth sign, a lot of issues around family and career generally, but there's many more to unpack, and that's a separate video, so I didn't want to make it too long because this was going to be longer than it was initially. So that's something just to keep in mind as you're feeling things pop up and how things relate to your own natal chart. On December the 5th, we have the last quarter moon in Virgo happening just a little bit past midnight. And so this is going to be in a waning crescent phase because we're getting closer or gradually heading towards the new moon in Sagittarius happening on December 12th. So this is where we see half light, half dark being reflected to us, similar to when we experienced the fall equinox, right? Where we had an equal amount of day and night. And what's happening here and what's being called during this time, but more specifically, feel into this during the energy. Because if you intellectualize this and you're like, okay, 12:49 a.m. We've got the moon in Virgo in this phase. Let me see what's happening. More of this is about embodiment and feeling it. So really tap into what is coming up for you during this time. But issues around balance. Anything that feels out of balance. And again, that's always fluctuating because the ideal is perfection. Perfection in terms of balance all the time in all areas of our lives. And that's pretty unrealistic as humans, but also pretty unrealistic in our lives because we're simultaneously moving through those walking platforms that keep us going forward while we are almost juggling balls. It doesn't mean we have to juggle 100 balls. We have to also be very choosy and selective and prioritize our responsibility and commitments. So what needs to come into balance when it comes to your goals, your life, people, wherever you put your time and energy, because at the foundation of the basis underlying everything is, it simply has to do with your time, your energy, and your spatial elements, who you share them with. What new nuggets have you learned? What intuitive messages, channeled messages, psychic downloads have come to you? And what changes do you feel you need to make or that you need to implement? So this is a stop, pause, and stop and check, a reality check type of energy. Because before we continue onward, and they all connect, all these lunations, these lunar energies that the moon is, shifting through, they all connect and they all help us complete little, you can say little milestones along the way. And a lot of it's energetic, but it pops up too because we need to also implement this in a practical, real world way. An overall energy that's related to this is about clearing out the cobwebs, refining, and identifying what these blockages are so you can proceed. Same day, we have Venus in Scorpio trining Saturn in Pisces. I immediately got here because I marinate with these energies. In other words, I meditate. And we're adulting in our relationships. We're taking a serious tone here. This is really looking at all our relationships. I get photo albums and we're looking at them and we're asking ourselves almost like, again, like a physical checkup, a health checkup. So a relationship checkup. Do we want to continue in these relationship dynamics or these patterns or however the relationship has been evolving? Do we want to commit or recommit to certain ways? Because there's a steadfastness, there's an element of connecting our values to these longer investments we're making in people and anything Venusian related, because Venus related themes are not just denoting relationships. It could also be about our finances, our values and self-worth, our esteem, self-esteem, also having to do with our pleasures and so many other topics. I feel like you're also going to consider whether or not certain relationships have outgrown themselves or whether these are worth continuing to invest your time and energy, because there's an endurance here of, okay, we're about to take things to the next level. It has nothing to do with the romantic notion that people often hear when this is said. This is simply saying, do I want to continue investing, making deposits in this or not? Am I ready to cut my losses? Am I ready to withdraw? Am I ready to walk away? And it's simply assessing whether or not this is something you want to carry forth. So notice where relationships too, this is something I channeled. Notice where relationships have been hot and cold, inconsistent, fast and slow, enduring versus ephemeral. So if you've had any relationships where you're like, you know what, this isn't something I want to grow with, because Saturn here in Pisces is especially connecting to something higher, beyond ourselves. There's a spiritual connection here. Many folks, like I mentioned in previous weekly energy forecasts and also with several lunations we've had, especially in Scorpio and Gemini, folks want an intimate connection with people. So values are shifting. As a result, what you're looking for in others across the board, personal and professional relationships, has to do with going deeper. And this is where Saturn comes into play, because we're only here on this earth and with folks for a limited time. So be choosy, spend your time and energy wisely, and make those deposits count for yourself. I also got here Saturnian energy and the way it expires these relationships. So again, this is a health check with relationships. Have they expired or are they still good? On December 6th, we have the moon in Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces. And we also have the moon, it'll be shifting into Libra, and then we have Neptune going direct. So the moon opposing Neptune is when we can have a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of confusion. disillusionment as well. There's an extra hypersensitivity around, wait, is that really what's happening? Did I see that? Did I say that? Am I understanding this correct? I think this is what's happening when it's really not. It's almost as if we create our own stories and project that out into the world. So be really careful here. So this is an excellent time for really leaning into your psychic and intuitive messages, creative downloads, and really feeling into the truth, into the reality of how things really are, not seeing them. That's where things can go to shit. That's when people can get caught up in cobwebs and feel like this was true when it wasn't. Be careful, like I mentioned before, about projecting onto others, especially your perspective and any insecurities, because they may be especially feeling more heightened, and it's a perception that we tend to feel and embody and project outwardly. We also have the waning crescent energies in Libra. So prior it was in Virgo. Now we're moving into Libra. So this is a time of surrender, of rest and reflection before we head into the new moon in about a week from this time. This is about wrapping things up. Again, like I mentioned with the Virgo energy, what needs to be cleaned out. With Libra, it's very much too, there's an aesthetics here of a perfection, of an ideal, of balance that was denoted. What do you need to complete? What needs to be let go of? What needs to be wrapped up? Where are you saying, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not going to complete it. This isn't helping me, or it's not worth my time or energy at this moment. I'm dropping it. Because sometimes what becomes a yes becomes a no, and vice versa. And that's perhaps the beauty of the scales. They're always shifting. We always have to tap in and check in with ourselves. And these are what I call reality check moments throughout the day, throughout the week. Like, is this working for me? Maybe what you thought you set up, maybe your home office, you thought this was great, but you're realizing, you know what? I get more work done outside the home than I do inside, no matter how pretty my desk looks. So there's a lot of reassessing and actualizing that. Be careful, because I highlighted this, which is not always common when I prepare for this, but Libra rules over the lower back, the kidneys, the bladder, lower hips. So what do you need to literally or metaphysically or metaphorically let go of? There's some type of energy blockage here, and a lot of it has to do with the lower extremities. You could feel a pressure or burden, something you've been holding on to, especially if it pertains to relationships or something that you're trying to maintain balance, like career and family. There's some type of dichotomy here that's existing. There's an emotional release that I feel is going to happen this week of stuck feelings, because once you recognize what is true for you, like, hey, maybe your core value rests upon family. And you're like, you know what? I'm putting in way too much work or hours into work, and I really want to create greater balance. And for me, it's going to look like this. Oh, also, ever notice how all of a sudden you stop feeling pain in certain areas of your body? Because some of these energies manifest. And as always, I want to put that disclaimer, always consult with your doctor, mental health professionals, and any other medical professional people, your team, and use your intuition and discernment. It's really important. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm simply sharing what I feel energetically and what I sense as well. Anything that needs to be expressed that has been repressed or silenced is also going to feel especially lightening. It's going to feel like you're unloading something. This energy also asks us to consider, what can we do that will make us feel good? Because this is about the feeling. It's an excellent time to tap into those feel-good moments, to release these energies like stretching, breathing or breath work, holding positions in a certain way. Maybe they're called static stretches. Because again, the release is coming here, continuation with the Virgo lunation energies, with urinating or peeing, detoxing through drinking extra water, tears, emotional releases, and depuffing in a way, because sometimes we get puffy and we have no idea why. It's interesting how all of this connects. So this is about releasing, again, releasing energy happening. We also have Neptune going direct this same day at 24 degrees. And this is like, yes, it's finally happening. Neptune stationed retrograde June 30th at 27 degrees. So we may energetically start to feel as if the NyQuil or some type of cold flu medicine is wearing off. You may start to feel like there is just greater clarity coming. This is the best way energetically that I felt. It's as if you continuously were cleaning your windows with glass cleaner and they were still fogging up. Or you're driving and no matter what sets or air what are they called? The buttons that you put? Air. You couldn't remove the fog, and now you're feeling that. You may feel energetically lighter. You may feel like things are starting to materialize, especially where Neptune in Pisces is in your natal chart. I'm going to do something separate because I found myself channeling a lot of information, but this is an energy that is going to be shifting, and we're going to gradually feel it because it's moving slowly. It's not going to happen overnight. On December 8th, we have the Sun in Sagittarius trining Chiron in Aries. We also have Mercury in Capricorn trining Jupiter in Taurus, and we have the moon shifting into Scorpionic energy before it shifts into the new moon, into Sagittarius, I should say, in the new moon next week. So with the Sun trining Chiron, we're seeing, or we're receiving, some type of shining light internally as well as outwardly on what we need healing around, what we've healed, and what is continuously and simultaneously being healed, especially around relationships and self. There's a sense also of vitality or renewal. Again, it's as if we're coming out of being stagnant, a little bit of a dormant volcano waking up. It's that energy. You know, sometimes when you've overworked yourself too much or you've done so much physical or mental activity, you just feel a bit exhausted. Or sometimes you can't explain why. You just, when people say my bones feel tired, it's that energy where you may be eating right, you may be sleeping enough, but you're still feeling a little bit low or lethargic. This week, I feel like there's going to be a reboot happening. You're going to feel it energetically more than anything. Could be coming first mentally and physically, especially with the fire element. I feel like many folks are going to feel it physically first, but it's also going to spark in your mind, in your mental state, I should say, where you're going to feel a little oomph happening. So if you feel like you've been wandering aimlessly, you feel like you've hit a dead end, you got off a rest stop area, akin to doing a road trip, and you're like, where the hell am I going? I thought I was going to this destination. I thought this was my path in life, my mission. I thought this was what I wanted to do, but I'm not, or I haven't been feeling it. There's been a disconnection feeling for a while now, for a long time, and as planets turn direct, we start to get puzzle pieces that materialize for us. It's almost as if you've been writing in your journal and now you're like, you know what? I'm going to take this into the world and I'm going to start taking steps here. Things are going to start moving. So just keep paying attention to what's coming up and what you're feeling. That's going to be the biggest key. Excellent time. I always say this, excellent time to take note and jot down what comes up. Spiritual journaling and just documenting different things is so helpful during these moments, especially during retrograde periods and when planets go direct. You can glean and learn a lot about what it is that you were going through, what it is you are healing through, what it is you don't want to revisit, etc. I feel like you're going to discover, experience, or see something this week that's going to make you smile or laugh so much. You know, when your eyes, let me say this again, you know, when you smile or laugh so much, your eyes get little wrinkles. It's like a true, genuine joy or contentment or connection. That's what I feel is going to happen this week. Something is going to re-spark your fire. I have here too, this is something I channeled. Some of you will realize that the shit that you've healed or that you are in some way going through, you're going to help others go through that or support them or do something similar. Whether it's working with some type of community, connecting with other like-minded souls, establishing some type of fund, a nonprofit organization, or starting some type of project, a creative endeavor yourself, that's going to really shift this next chapter forward for you. Mercury trine Jupiter, this adds again to greater optimism, faith, hope. We just feel better. It's as if the lumens went higher. They gradated. I don't even know if that's a word. They got bigger. I feel like, especially around themes about communication, teaching, learning, knowledge, anything expansive, traveling. I feel too, it's all types of travel. Travel through the mind. It could be astral as well. Travel physically, short distance or long distance travel. Anything that adds to that knowledge dispensary, it's going to be an excellent time to really consider those topics and themes. So if you're wanting to start anything new around that, a new course, new project, new field of study, a workshop degree, a retreat or program around themes, especially Jupiterian, which tends to rule anything around philosophy, law, religion, belief, spirituality. great time. I also feel like many folks are really exploring many belief, philosophical, spiritual concepts right now as it intertwines with their, we'll say, life in general. Finally, with the moon shifting into Scorpio, we still have these waning crescent energies. So it's amazing what the Libran energy and the Virgo energies brought forth, because usually folks tend to associate the Libra energies, and I hear it time and time again, with the lower octaves of being superficial, of being unicorns and fluffy and all of that. And while it can be, we can feel these energies and these expressions of any sign, but in particular, since I'm denoting Libra at any time, I want to highlight the ways you can tap into these energies in their higher vibrations, because those are things that we always strive for with each of these, with each of the signs and the energies involved. So Libra, it's really about tapping into what helps you feel good mentally. There's a lot of mental stimulation with Libra. And I feel like with Scorpio, this is so that you can face it in that inner environment, because Scorpio really asks us to go deeper. We don't heal in painful environments. So it's really important. Ever wonder why? And this is what I channeled, which isn't always the case, especially with Libra energy, but there's a focus on a ideal, some say a platonic ideal, a perfection, an aesthetic that brings balance, beauty, harmony, peace to the Libran archetype. Ever wonder why some folks have blankets, stuffed animals? I have here security objects, especially kids. Whenever they're upset, they go to this particular thing. Sometimes it's a person or an animal. As adults too, it helps during process or times of healing, of grief. It could be a photo, it could be a particular memento or treasure or object, a stuffed animal, something that helps you remember or tap back into an energy that was amazing for you, that brought a lot of joy or happiness. Scorpio is also picking up and asking us now to feel what has been released and what is coming up. This is the deep dive. This is the deep stuff so many folks shy away from, and that where many people can stay in the more superficial realm, because it could be painful, it can be scary to revisit these energies and feelings. But this is simply, sometimes people think you have to do some type of long-term excavation, like an archaeological deep dive. And that's not always the case, even though that's very emblematic of Scorpionic energy. We often get a very investigator, PI type of energy with Scorpio. But with some of these painful feelings that are coming up, a lot of times it's the feeling themselves that simply have to be recognized, identified, accepted, acknowledged. It's like, yeah, I see you. Doesn't mean we have to identify with them and dissertation on them. No, it simply means we're like, yes, I see you. Let me feel this and let me allow it to trespass through me or go through me, and that's it. I feel like sometimes, and it's very easy as humans to overcomplicate these things, we identify and we latch on and then we drown with this shit. The lower octaves of energy, the lower octaves of Scorpio energy can have us drown in this, can have us identify with some of these. This is never going to work out. People have done this to me. It's going to happen again. I don't know if I can fully trust. It's always identifying with some type of lack or insecurity. And like I mentioned, sometimes I feel like a lot of what's coming up is simply to acknowledge it. Like I see you type of energy, to feel it. You know, when you sit on a couch and you're just watching a fly move, but you're not doing anything for the most part, it's like that. So identify this week, what's coming up for you, what feels uncomfortable, what feels scary, painful. Any shadows that you feel are coming up again, or anything that feels like it's pinging you. Because those are repetitive themes that are asking you, wait a minute, we just want to be looked at. Hey, make room for us. Allow us to come and sit on the couch with you. And so with these energies, Scorpio is also tapping into the sun's courageous, passionate, warm, healing energy. There's vitality, renewal with the sun. Because we can use this to transmute the emotions, the deep, it could be wounds, shadows, and pain that's coming up with Scorpio, but also this is part of the rebirth and transformation process we're going through as well. So this is, again, a great time to go deep down and dirty, and not in the way that you think. You have to really open this door for yourself and really excavate it before doing it with others. And I feel like this is all precursors leading up to this new moon in Sagittarius. It's cleaning out the trunk. You want to go on a trip? Well, you better get the shit out from your previous trip before you start this new trip. Otherwise, you're bringing in a lot. I also have here things that came up that will help during this scorpionic phase of this moon. And again, it's very quick. It's about 2 to 3 days. These are short-term ephemeral. The moon moves very fast, so sometimes folks don't even notice it. Great time this week, anytime. That's why journaling is a practice that's great for all seasons of life. Try journaling conversation cards with yourself, or you can get journal prompts like on Pinterest, Google. They have a lot of free, amazing, accessible resources. Talking with a trusted person. I put therapist, coach, friend, psychic. I also put psychic medium because there's something about connecting to ancestors, to the past, regressive past life modalities, and sexual and embodiment practices because they all connect to emotions and patterns and beliefs, and that's what needs the switching. It's like you decide to switch from a halogen light to an LED. And I'm not a light bulb expert. It just came to me. It's like that. So shifting on, December 10th, we have Venus in Scorpio opposing Jupiter in Taurus. So something in your relationships is being highlighted here that may feel misaligned, that's different. Some sort of feel like values are differentiated. They're not the same. Your aspirations may be at odds with someone else's, and it's asking yourself, can we work through this together to find or achieve some sort of balance, some sort of, okay, let's meet at the middle here. Can we understand each other and take this relationship forward, or these values or these belief systems, or do we need to completely go in a different direction because it's not going to work? So think about here, again, similar themes like I mentioned. What relationships have you outgrown from or don't feel like you resonate with anymore? You'll know that because you'll feel like something is off, especially if it's been off for a while. It just feels different. Many times our underlying core values cause a shift, like tectonic plates do with earthquakes. There's a shift that causes things to change. And we're like, whoa, something feels different. Also, too, you may value the same things, but the way you define that may have shifted as well, or has shifted. So this is an energy to transform once you recognize what is at odds so that you can achieve or restore some type of balance in your life. Likewise, I feel like it also invites you to ask if this harmonization can happen or if this container has run its course. There's an immense positive momentum forward, an energy of like, you know what, we are wrapping things up. I'm really still cleaning things out because there's still a cleaning out energy, and that aligns with the astrology, but also with this week and with this upcoming lunation. What do we still need to make room from as we are about to embark on this next journey of our life? And I say that, so I feel like a lot of people are about to take trips or are in the process of planning some type of trip. It could be a pilgrimage, a retreat, a solo trip, a physical trip to the library where you're about to expand up here, or a real stretch in your philosophical belief systems. Because remember, whatever comes your way and whatever you perceive as a challenge, a blessing, an opportunity, a curse, whatever it is, it's always about how you respond. That's the key here, because that's going to change everything going forward. So any event that comes your way can completely amplify, harmonize, disrupt, or debilitate the process moving forward, again, depending on how you respond. So major healing is still continuing. We're clearing out things. The fog is dissipating. I feel like the past is connecting to the present, and we're starting to see glimpses. There's a feeling of greater hope, a renewal, of vitality. Many folks are feeling a little bit more energized, especially since the sun ingressed into Sagittarius. And we're continuously shedding old layers while simultaneously planning for the future, while still realizing what's happening right now in this moment. Coming up next week, we have the new moon in Sagittarius on December 12th. Which is interesting, 12/12, I immediately heard something about mirroring back. So there's a lot of things right now that are being mirrored to you in terms of what needs tightening, what needs loosening up or letting go. And we have Mercury retrograde that is happening. It'll start, in other words, Mercury is stationing retrograde in Capricorn, 8 degrees, December 13. Two big highlights next week. We will get started on the forecast. I only have 2 cards, and this is going to be quick because the astrology took up a bit of time, and I simply want to see anything else that we need to be aware of for this week. There are a lot of continuing themes, I should say, as you've noted. A lot about relationships. We're still cleaning up, still finding cobwebs, and I'm speaking metaphorically. We're still finding cobwebs where we're like, oh, I didn't know that existed. Okay, let's pull one oracle card. Thank you. Oh, you would not believe the cards that I got. We got 5 of coins and 2 of cups. This is earth energy, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, and then we have water, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Again, there's shifting values this week. There's chances for greater intimacy, all types of relationships. That means essentially that you're opening the door for greater elevation to happen. So there's greater opportunity this week. Again, there's shifting values here. Especially with the 5 of coins, anything that you feel is off balance. This speaks to balance, harmony within and without, with other people and with yourself. Anything that doesn't feel good, that doesn't resonate, and you feel like you've simply outgrown. Just because you've outgrown something doesn't mean there has to be anything dramatic or big or mean or negative around it, or closing up or ending it. Sometimes we outgrow clothes or socks or your favorite pair of jeans, and it's sad, it sucks. But we're like, you know what? I want to find something better. Maybe the next pair of jeans, again, jeans, that's another video too. Finding jeans that fit you. And I'm not talking about physical fit that you really connect with. That's another thing. So in that same energy, relationships and every area of your life where you feel there may not be a connection anymore, where you feel like your values are not aligned, and where you feel like you're giving more than you're receiving, that is being called into question this week. These are constant reminders. It's almost as if, when you're wrapping paper, sometimes you cut pieces of tape, and for me, I would sometimes put tape all over me, and I'd be like, okay, let me get a piece here, a piece there. So I'd have the tape ready. It's like, okay, let's go back and get those pieces of tapes or those Post-its or those notes that you've made, and ask yourself this week, is this harmony that you're looking for in your life, is it allowing you to grow within yourself, by yourself, right, on your own soul journey, but also with whatever is part of that, the relationship, the job, the values? Are you restricting yourself in some way? Are you allowing too much to be used from you, to be drained from you? Because there's a lot of balance that wants to come in. We got fogged in, go slow, take time, and narrow pathway, thread carefully. So again, we're coming out of some nebulous, energetic times. A lot has happened in the last 2.5 months, even beyond if we look further, but there's been so much that has been compressed recently. And I feel like you see this fog is lifting in both areas. We have indications of perhaps not knowing all the puzzle pieces. This week, this is happening, but this doesn't mean you have to move quickly. We have water and earth, which tend to move slower than air and fire. So this is a week not to make any hasty decisions, to feel into things, especially since we have a few aspects that are highlighting some miscommunication. Really tap into how you're feeling. I can't emphasize this enough. This has been coming up. I'm going to pull one final oracle from Archangel Michael. Final advice for this week for everyone. Some of you, I feel, are evading feeling into things that you know are true, and you know that what you're feeling, the answer is already there, but you're trying to see something else happen in your physical reality. Thank you. Oh shit. We got 18, which reduces to a 9. Let it go. The situation no longer serves you. Allow me to sever your energetic connections to the past so you can embrace your future. Some of you are still holding on. I'm seeing in the gym, they used to have those ropes hanging from the ceiling, and then sometimes the gym instructors would ask you to climb that. You see that too in some military or obstacle course events, and you climb up. Some of you are holding on to those ropes. It has nothing to do with ropes. I hope you're getting and catching my drift. Some of you are holding on to people, places, things, belief systems, something, because there's a fear there. Tap into the lunar energies this week, especially Scorpio, and right before we get into Sagittarius, because something new is going to shift your perspective. And I feel like it's going to be you that has to recognize that, no one else. Everyone can tell you this is amazing, you're good at this and good at that, but until you realize that, that's the truth of Sagittarius energy. There's a very high higher spiritual connection involved. Until you believe that for yourself, you're not going to see it. So there's something here that you may have to go through one last time this week that may bring up or conjure up moments or feelings of pain, of feeling alone, feeling some type of lack, scarcity, misalignment, for you to actually realize, I don't want to feel this anymore. I hope this reading has helped. I hope the astrological background has helped. I am so trying to get it out of my mouth faster. There's so much to say, and I acknowledge I'm not always a fast speaker. I have to take time to speak it, but if this has helped in any way, I would truly appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. That's the best way to support my channel. Did I even finish that sentence? Comment down below. Let me know what's going on for you if this resonates. Otherwise, I wish you a beautiful week ahead. Take care.